I knew this was going to be the case. All the rumors and tips pointed towards it. Samsung's Galaxy S26 series is about as iterative as Galaxy phones can be, even after what could arguably be seen as a couple of other iterative generations. Is that a bad thing? Well, no, it's not exactly exciting for die-hard tech fans, but what Samsung has with its trio of flagship phones is a somewhat perfected recipe for new phones that will likely appeal to people looking to upgrade from an S24 or S23 or maybe older. However, there are still some new extra ingredients that mean the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra sports a unique feature and a suite of upgrades that make it likely to be one of the most refined flagship phones of the year, and a surefire contender for a high spot on our best phones list. At first glance, you will probably struggle to see much of a difference between the Galaxy S26 Ultra and the Galaxy S25 Ultra. The design is pretty much the same as before, but Samsung has made the edge a little rounder, which makes the slab-like phone sit a bit more comfortably in my hand. It is also a little slimmer than the S25 Ultra, which is appreciated but not exactly noticeable, and that comes as a result of the phone being around half a millimeter taller and wider. While I didn't have my S25 Ultra on my hand for a direct comparison, I'm still sporting my slightly battered iPhone 17. I did think the S26 Ultra just feels that bit more refined, threading the line between comfortable, rounded edges and avoiding the large phone from feeling slippery. The display still comes in at 6.9 inches, which is plenty for anyone, and sports the LTPO 120Hz to 1Hz refresh rate panel. But there is a subtle upgrade here in the Pro Scaler upscaling function. The display uses to polish up lower resolution visuals into something that better suits the 3120 by 1440 resolution screen has been improved. The display also supports the MDNI codec, which should mean the screen can show a wider range of colors and render them with more precision. In practical terms, I think it would take the most age-eyed of Galaxy users to spot big differences, but like a lot of previous Galaxy S Ultra phones, the display on the S26 Ultra looked fantastic to me. I tend to think Samsung produces the best phone displays. On the phone's color options, things are a little shrug-worthy. The hero color is cobalt violet, which is fine and goes alongside sky blue, black, white, and online exclusive shades of silver shadow and pink gold. These colors are inoffensive for a large phone, but after the orange iPhone 16 Pro, I do feel Samsung could even pushed the boat out a bit. I'd have loved a punchy green option, maybe British racing green. Look under the hood of the Galaxy S26 Ultra, you will find a 3nm Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy chipset. Naturally, this brings in a performance boost for CPU, GPU and NPU elements of the chip, but there's something here right now to truly write home about. I didn't get to see whether Qualcomm's latest slice of high-end mobile silicon drastically improved gaming on the Galaxy S26 Ultra, but improved NPU performance should mean snappier artificial intelligence features without the need to tap into the cloud. Proper testing and deeper benchmarks will tell the full story, but expect the Galaxy S26 Ultra to rub shoulders with Apple's A19 Pro chip in the iPhone 17 Pro Max and perhaps whatever chip comes loaded into a next-gen iPhone later this year. There is a redesigned vapor chamber which is larger and is 21% more efficient in heat dissipation than before, so that should be a boon to mobile gamers and power users. And that should also help with battery longevity, especially as the S26 Ultra sticks to the 5000 mAh of its predecessor. But there is now super fast charging 3.0 that should charge the battery from 0 to 75% in 30 minutes, and super fast wireless charging offers faster wire-free battery juicing. Much as before, there are storage options of 256GB, 512GB and 1TB, but this time opting for the largest option will net users 16GB of RAM rather than 12GB. I can't say I have ever thought too much about extra RAM on phones, but as they embrace more AI features and functions, more memory should make for a snappier smartphone. All in all, there is a lot of what one would expect from a flagship Samsung phone. but I didn't get the impression that the performance on offer will be partially noticeable over that of the S25 or S24 Ultra models. The suite of rear cameras for the Galaxy S26 Ultra haven't got any major upgrades in terms of hardware, though the 200 megapixel camera can capture 47% brighter shots and the 50 megapixel telephoto can snap 37% brighter photos. This means a boost to night photography and video capture, which is always appreciated as there is gain to be had in low light photography and image processing. But it's on the software side that brings get more interesting. The Galaxy S26 Ultra can now track subjects in 4K video thanks to capturing 8K footage and cropping it into 4K, all with the help of AI processing. For people who like to record music artists and sports events, this could be quite a sleek feature. There is also an AI-aided Super Steady mode, which almost acts like a digital gimbal for the Ultra's cameras. By mixing gyroscope and accelerometer data, the mode can automatically stabilize video even up to 360 degrees of movement and angles. From what I saw, this is quite special and could be great for content creators who don't want to spend money on a load of physical stabilization tools. Speaking of creators, there's support for the APV video codec, which Samsung says provides virtually lossless video. This isn't my area of expertise, but I do think it helps make a flagship phone feel more like a proper tool than just a feature-packed gadget. The front-facing camera still sports a 12 megapixel sensor, but it now has an AI-enhanced image signal processor that should help the camera be more aware of what's in frame and deliver better portrait shots and better skin tones. The latter is interesting as I've always felt Samsung doesn't win on accurate skin tones. All in all, it feels like Samsung is doing a bit of consolidating with its cameras on the S26 Ultra, deeper bedding in AI and software improvements rather than trying to push harder. If that leads to ever more refined photos from a flagship phone that consistently hits the highest spots on our best camera phones list, then I am all of that, but proper testing will see what the S26 Ultra can do. With the Galaxy S25 series, Samsung seemed to really hit its stride with AI integration and its own Galaxy AI. Now with the Galaxy S26 Ultra, it feels like Samsung has a proper AI phone thanks to smarter tools, upgrades and deeper AI integration. On the upgrade side, Photo Assist has been given a shot of smarts in that objects can be added to photos via natural language prompts, so you can simply ask for something to be generated and added to a scene without having to go and create an asset. But if you need to do the latter, then the Creative Studio tool can do that, generating things like stickers, image templates, invitations and more via prompts, which can then be shared. Circle to Search, which isn't exclusive to Samsung phones but I believe will debut with upgrades on the S26 family, can now recognize multiple objects that have been circled, which could be a big upgrade. I didn't get a chance to really get a feel for this, but Circle to Search has impressed me a lot before. Now Brief, the Now bar and Now Nudge notifications have been sharpened up to better serve up for personalized and contextual information and prompts based on what a notification might flag or a particular message, such as understanding what's been asked in a message and serving up options, say providing a phone number to a person looking for a contact or suggesting meeting locations based on someone asking if you are free to meet for lunch. This is helped by the personal data engine that aims to extract information from apps and notifications, as well as a deeper analysis of a user's behavior to serve up more personalized information and prompts. The idea here, from my take on the tech, is to make AI feel more useful to you than simply a tool you have to work with. Audio Eraser gets a rather neat upgrade in that it can now work with third-party apps like YouTube and Instagram, using AI to filter out background noise so people can focus more on things like commentary in a football match. While Google Gemini is the main AI assistant on the S26 Ultra when it comes to asking for general information, Bixby has been made more intelligent with a new large language model underpinning it, with the idea that it will help users get more on their phone without digging through settings. Bixby understands natural language and can be prompted to direct people to things like screen setting if asked to make the screen easier on my eyes, to which the assistant will then serve up the option to turn on the eye comfort shield mode. Samsung said this is about more than just Bixby controlling your Galaxy phone and more about better understanding what you want. I think it's a smart feature, but I remain a little unsold on it. I'm of the belief that power users tend to go for Ultra phones and are probably not the type of people who need to be directed to certain settings. Equally, I have found that Samsung can bury things in menus, so being able to easily ask Bixby to find me a setting that I might not know the proper name for might end up being very handy. For questions not related to the phone, the S26 Ultra's version of Bixby will now hand off the queries to new AI partner Perplexity. While there isn't one brand new AI feature that I think the Galaxy S26 Ultra can pin its colors to, I do think the AI experience is probably tighter, sleeker, and more responsive in the generation, which means the Ultra can compete with smarts of the Google Pixel 10 and Pixel 10 Pro. Samsung makes good phones, and with the Galaxy S series it makes great phones. I don't think that has changed with the Galaxy S26 Ultra or its stablemates. It might be the most iterative generation of Galaxy S phones I can think of, but with the Galaxy S26 Ultra, Samsung has taken its best phone and made it just that little bit better. More time and in-depth testing will see if my first impressions are on the money, but in many ways it's hard for Samsung to fail at this point. Better AI integration, camera performance tweaks, more power, and that new privacy display make the Galaxy S26 Ultra a true contender for Phone of the Year. I don't think you need to get a pre-order in if you have a Galaxy S25 Ultra or indeed a OnePlus 15 or Pixel 10 Pro, but if you are at the end of a carrier contract and I have a Galaxy S24 Ultra or are looking to upgrade from a Galaxy S23 Ultra, then the Galaxy S26 Ultra is shaping up to be a phone well worth your consideration. Ultimately, I was left somewhat bored by the Galaxy S26 Ultra as a vehicle for phone innovation, even with a privacy screen that's ripe for copying, but I do have to tip my metaphorical hat to it as being a refined take on an already excellent smartphone formula.